Hey guys, today I'll be doing a short review of the Samsung Galaxy S23 FE, which in my opinion, it could be one of the best budget flagships that Samsung has ever released. It could be, but it isn't in every part of the world, so you probably know what I'm talking about. This phone has the Exynos variant in most of the world, but in the USA, Japan, and Canada, I think, it has the Snapdragon processor, which is much better and changes the whole story of this phone. But let's begin with the basics. 120 Hz OLED screen, right? No issues there. Amazing colors, very vibrant, very premium design as well. It looks like one of the S23 or S24 flagships from Samsung. It has a main 50 megapixels camera, which is the same one that is present on the S22, S23, and S24 flagships. It has a really nice telephoto camera, but it's the same one present on the S20 FE, S21 FE, and now on this one. But it's not as good as the one on the S22, S23, or S24. But it's still very good. It has the same ultra-wide camera that's present on the S23 and S24, which is really good. It has wireless charging, reverse wireless charging. You know, it has all features from the flagship for a much lower price. So what's missing there? What's the issue? It has a flagship processor, kind of. 7 years of updates. So everything you could want on a Samsung flagship. So what's going on here? Why this is not the best budget flagship everywhere in the world, and only in some places? Well, basically because even in 2024, the Exynos processor still has some overheating, some slowdowns or frame drops when you're using the phone. You know, some things that shouldn't be happening on a phone with a flagship processor. Even being the Exynos 2200, it should be better. But it's not, you know. Sometimes when you're using the camera too much, the app starts to freeze or you get frame drops, you know. Things that shouldn't be happening on a phone that should be like a budget flagship, because this is not a flagship behavior, you know what I mean? And it's still happening in 2024 with the Exynos. So, but this only happens on countries that have the Exynos processor. In the USA, Canada, because they have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Sure, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 still heats up, you know, and it's not as good as the other processors that came after it, but it's still better than the Exynos 2200. That's just facts. If Samsung had released the S23 FE with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, you'd be so much better. It'd be a totally different experience, and especially worldwide as well. Can you imagine how much better it would be? It just feels like Samsung released this phone just because they had to. But anyways, let's focus on something else. Can you see? The cameras are really good. They're even better than the A55, and they do 90% of what the S23 or S24 flagships do. They're really good, but they have a small issue at night. Can you see this green hue around the sky? And it happens in all night mode photos when you are taking pictures in a really dark environment. And this issue happens in all S models. I'm using S24 Plus right now, and it has the same issue. And Samsung still hasn't fixed it. In 2024, this is not a flagship that should be taking photos like this at night. But when you're not taking photos at night in a very dark environment, the pictures are amazing, as you can see. Just really good. The 3x zoom, as you can see right here. The portrait mode, as you can see, look how crisp it is. It's really nice photo, even at low light. So, you know, it's a really nice phone. And if you live in the USA or Canada, it's totally worth it, up to, I would say $450. That's the maximum I would pay for it. If you live in Europe, I would probably try to pay at a maximum like 400 euros or 400 pounds. More than that is just too much. Or if you live in India as well, I would try to get a really nice deal on it. Otherwise, it's not worth it. So is this the best budget flagship Samsung has ever made? No, I think there's still the S20 FE 5G, which had a Snapdragon variant all over the world, and it still basically has almost the same cameras as this phone. So I think that was the best one. But this was one of the best ones. It's definitely better than the S21 FE that was released a few years ago.